It would have been so funny if I just never came back to this podcast. And like last episode, I'm pretty sure I was like, I'm Alex Mador and I will always be Alex Mador. And this is the short news. I'm so sorry, but considering everything that's been going on in the world, I kind of needed a vacation from the world. And not the grippy socks type of vacation. This, I promise you. Just, my 9 to 5 that I do aside from this, and also smoking weed. Those are two very important things in life. And sometimes it's important to forget about the complicated shitty shit that everybody's showing you on the RSS feeds and the news and the TV screens and the internet, the shit that you have to seek out. And instead, just enjoy the fucking simple shit that's right in front of you, like weed, like cats, like rain, like weather, folks, or like the Short News Podcast. Welcome back. Cue the fucking music.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word.
What year has
Welcome back to the show. If it sounds like I'm on one, I promise you it's the opposite. I am on Coke, and by Coke, I mean Coca-Cola. I discovered Coca-Cola at the ripe age of 29 last week. It's been a really, really wonderful addition to my already horribly unhealthy diet of fried chicken, potato products, and anything that Monsanto wants to put in my ass already. I don't know. What's been going on in the world? My God. It's probably so much good news. It's probably the happiest things you will ever hear. Just kidding. We're still at war with Iran. We're still bombing Iran. I don't even know if we should call it a war as much as the United States and Israel, aka the United States of Israel now, has been repeatedly walloping Iran. Walloping. Do you know how many children we killed? Not we as in you and me. We as in our military. Our bombs, our Palantir, all of that. Thousands and thousands. It's gotten to the point where I don't even want to look at a screen anymore. I just sit at home in the dark and I light a candle, I stare at it and I go, oh, maybe this will be less horrifying and less violent than what's on the other thing I could watch. And yeah, I could watch porn, but what if I go on the porn sites and it's all just like Iranian chick getting bombed with cum? I'm sorry, why am I trying to re-inject the Pool House's comedy back into this shit? Is it because I'm tired? Is it because I'm sleep deprived? Is it because the compassion fatigue from vet med is starting to kick in? I don't know. What I can tell you is the United States really seems to be the primary funder and almost like the adoptive father of an entire country, that country being Israel. You'd think the guys with the Iron Dome would have their shit handled themselves until you realize who probably co-funded that Iron Dome. We've been giving Israel Iron Dome under the table for how many fucking years? And now it's very much out in the open. Now, dude, they don't give a fuck anymore. Democrat or Republican, they'll come right out and they'll tell you their allegiance is not to America. It's to Israel. Ted Cruz, I've said this before. Ted Cruz, of all people, has come out and said that he supports Israel over anything else. He supports Israel's survival over fucking Jesus. Ted Cruz, the Jesus guy. You know, Ted Cruz, the evangelical. You know, Ted Cruz, the I won't even let my kid express themselves with their own sexual identity and now they don't want to live anymore. You know, that Ted Cruz, the one that does everything for Jesus. Nope, not anymore. What do they have on this man? What do they have on Ted Cruz? How salacious of details could Ted Cruz's life be that they're threatening him with blackmail over something? It's like, Ted, now Teddy, remember that one time that you masturbated over a picture of a woman that wasn't your wife? And he's like, no, please, she can't know. Imagine what my kids would think. They already fucking despise you, Ted, just like the rest of the country and even your own fucking party. Nobody respects you. I would say grow a pair, but I think that ship has sailed at this point. You should really support trans rights a little better, considering your penis totally caved in itself and turned into a vagina at least 6 years ago. Go fuck yourself, Ted Cruz. I yield my time to the senator from Texas. No, nothing? Okay. Anyways, I've been following this a little bit lately. I've been edging it. I've been edging the pulse of the country. I've been edging the country's news right now. Not fully in, not fully in, not even soaking in it. Just a little bit of an edge. Just, playing with the tip a little. I've been on Instagram threads trying to see what is what. People aren't really talking about Jeffrey Epstein as much, aside from the occasional meme here and there of, oh my God, he's still alive. Look, here's a picture of him driving a convertible the other day in Florida. And it's just some other random gray-haired Jewish guy in RL Sport. Or is it RLX? In RLX? Like, cool, dude, you just found any wealthy gray-haired Jewish guy in Florida driving a convertible or sports car wearing a pullover quarter zip. Like, that's a lot of people. That's most men in Florida. You're using Slim Shady music video logic here. Like, I don't know. There's a little Jeffrey in all of us. Those conspiracy theorists who say that the vaccine was actually put out because it has Jeffrey Epstein's DNA. I would like to rebut that so that you guys know that I'm not all the way lost the plot when it comes to conspiracies and the deep state and all of that shit. Corruption is very real, but I don't see a good reason for pharmaceutical companies to be injecting everybody with Jeffrey Epstein's DNA. I would love to know, first of all, what would that do? Like, what do these conspiracy theorists think that that's going to do for Jeffrey Epstein? What do they think that's going to do to them? Like, what do we mean by DNA, too? There's so many questions I have. But I just don't think that's the case because there's not much it could do. What is it going to influence everyone to be a pedophile? Let me tell you something. I got rounds 1, 2, and 3 of the COVID vaccine in 2021. I was one of the first to get the first dose of the COVID vaccine. I cut the line to get the first dose of the COVID vaccine. Do I have pedophilic tendencies? No, motherfucker. It doesn't have anything to do with the fucking vaccine. It's either you're a pedophile or not. Let's not make it about some woo-woo, maggy-waggy, magic nonsense. Let's not make it about some bullshit here, because it's going to illegitimize the actual crazy shit that actually also happened, or that actually did happen. Sorry, misspoke there. Because there is a huge portion of what people are talking about online that it's true and doesn't require you to falsify anything. You don't have to make this shit up because they actually did it. And we talked about Epstein for 3 episodes in a row. I don't want to touch upon it again. All I'm going to say about that is it's very odd how, as much as the Democrats saying that they hate Donald Trump, as much as they have impeached him 5 times his last term or whatever, as much as they criticize him or write sternly worded letters that accomplish nothing criticizing the man, I haven't really seen a decent amount of them coming out to say anything about the Epstein Files. It really makes you wonder if there are pedophile monsters on both sides. The answer might surprise you. Or maybe it won't, because the answer is yes. They are all disgusting, corrupt, money-grubbing, pedophilic monsters who don't work for you. Even though you're the one who voted them into power, you are technically their hiring manager. Yet they are here managing you and enslaving you to a lifetime of working your ass off and it never being enough. A lifetime of, I got a raise, but Why is suddenly the cost of living going up as though it's a giant fucking middle finger to my race? Why does it feel like the system is rigged for the people who are already the wealthiest? Because it is. Nobody has been arrested. Just kidding. Someone in England was arrested because of the Epstein Files. Nobody in America has been arrested or held accountable for their actions, for their alleged actions, or their names being mentioned in part of incriminating evidence or any of that. They have just continued to go on with their lives. The only things that maybe you have seen are people like Larry Summers resigning. But is he going to jail? No. Has he been arrested or questioned or anything? Absolutely fucking not. He quit on his own accord because he was embarrassed because everybody's finding out that he's a pedophile. Embarrassment and a lifetime of embarrassment is not the same as a lifetime of facing justice for the horrifying crimes that you have allegedly done. I went on a little bit too much about the Epstein stuff. I'm sorry, but what am I supposed to talk about? What am I supposed to bounce back to the fact that we're going into, or we have continued to be in, another war in the Middle East when our current president said multiple times that he is the peace president, that he will continue to commit to peace in the Middle East. Wow, I didn't realize that peace in the Middle East meant bombing the Middle East more. I didn't know that's what it meant. Thank you for opening up my mind. I guess I'm retarded. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. President, for showing me that bombing the Middle East and killing children after being accused of raping children on an island, unrelated, of course, unrelated, believe me, it's actually the way to go about achieving peace. Thank you. I had no idea. I thought peace was achieved by not getting involved in other countries' fucking bullshit. I thought peace was achieved by not bombing countries. Wow, I had no idea that it was the fucking opposite. Silly me, I guess. Can you tell that it's really difficult for me to talk about these things sometimes? And that sometimes this show is going to devolve into me yelling like it used to be back in 2020 when politics was the only thing that I cared about. Very good news for the short news podcast fans, I guess, is that I'm pissed and I'm not going anywhere. Is that we're back to what made the show good in 2020. It's a guy in his apartment pissed off about Donald Trump, but it's 6 years later. Some people change, and some people just don't, I guess. I don't know, or they get really, they do change down the road, but then they just come right back home 6 years later, like they never left. I don't want to go into identity or anything like that. There's no need for me to talk about the I when I should be sitting here yelling about the we. It's truly infuriating, though, what's going on out there, because it feels like not only are we powerless to do anything about that, to make any sort of difference to stop these horrors from happening around us, but if we even say anything about them, we run the risk of the FBI showing up at our door and asking weird questions like, so do you hate America? Or weird trap questions like, why do you hate America? And then you have to go back at them with, I never said I hate America. I actually love this country. And let me say that again here. I actually love this country. I've always loved this country, and I love what it stands for or what it used to stand for or what it could stand for, depending on who you are and what time period we're talking about, and if you're idealistic like me. I truly believe that this country could be the greatest. We have the technology. We have the resources. We have the manpower. We have the science. We have it all around. When it comes to shit, we have all of the shit. We have all of the things. We have all of the people. The problem that we're having, aside from this tolerance or the lack of tolerance for those who are different, when we are a country founded off the backs of immigrants and always have been, is the fact that America is no longer for everyone anymore. It stopped being for everyone. I really don't know when, but it just seems like we're all starting to realize that it's pay to win, but only if you were already born paid. Billionaires is what I mean. The 1%, the people who hoard the majority of the wealth, don't pay their fair share in taxes, and the money never trickles down, I'm sorry, like Ronald Reagan claimed it would. And that is why, as I've said many times, Ronald Reagan is in hell. Ronald Reagan will always be in hell. So what does that tell you about trickle-down economics and corporate fucking greed? And about our status as to whether or not we are cooked. We are cooked. Actually, we've been in the pot, set to boil, for decades, and we're just realizing that it's hot now. Billionaires have been in control for the longest time. We used to cheer billionaires and corporations. The Social Network, that movie, propaganda, by the way. The Mark Zuckerberg story isn't even real. Facebook was created by the CIA. Zuckerberg is a figurehead. I'm not going to go into that, but you can look that up yourself. They want us to idolize horrible people who represent horrible things and disgusting, greedy values so that they can continue to do those things while we cheer them on for stomping us out as they actively stomp us out. There is a boot landing on your nose, and you are licking it, sniffing it, giving it all kinds of loving and telling it it's great. And then you go home and wonder why your face hurts. I don't blame people. I really don't, but I think that the American people are finally coming around to the idea that billionaires are evil, greedy people who don't care about anybody but themselves. I don't know if it was when they started building the bunkers. I don't know if it was when they stopped listening to the consumer and started doing things with their companies or their products that just didn't make sense. That just clearly showed you that they knew you depended on their product, even if they made it worse for you, and that you would continue using it and using their products. Dude, once they got you in that catch-22, if I'm even making sense here, you realize they're just flapping middle fingers in your faces. You realize they don't actually care about you. If anything, they actually want you fucking dead faster. But it's okay because somehow they'll try to convince you to reproduce so that they can get your kid hooked on whatever next thing that they've got that continues to make them rich and continues to distract the next generation and the next generation from what's actually happening to them actively. Do you remember a time before social media where we actually did pay attention to the important things? Where people actually did go outside a little bit more? Like, sure, we had video games still, so you were still inside playing a lot of shit on a screen and all of that, but it wasn't as addictive as what we have now with Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and all of that, where it's the constant validation heroin drip that keeps you coming back while they collect all of your data so that one day when they need to disappear you, they have enough of your information to make an LLM that is a clone of whatever you would say if you were still alive and whatever you would post if you were still alive, like you are still alive. Because, God forbid, they find themselves in a situation where they're being attacked by the proletariat, for lack of better words, and they feel like they need to defend themselves, so they disappear you for saying too much about their bunkers, or about how they don't care about you, or about how the 1% needs to die. No one will ever know because your Facebook account will still be going, will still be posting silly things like me when I miss her. Yeah, that of course, that's Alex. Of course. No AI would ever be able to replicate that. What are you talking about? They'll figure out how to do your voice if they don't have a model of it already that's out there doing that. Why do you think they collect your voice data on every app? Why do you think that they have every single one of your fucking conversations? Because now not only can they give that to advertising firms so that they can market to you based on what you told your significant other you're craving, or based on a private conversation that you had with somebody close to you, and now they're marketing you therapy and making a bajillion dollars off of your data. Now they can take your data in-house and make a puppet of you, and no one will know. No one will be any the wiser. They prop it up Weekend at Bernie's style. Have it come onto your podcast and be you, and have it start to say things that still sound like you, but slowly start steering your follower base into a safer territory without them even being any the wiser. Because, hey, that's my guy. He still sounds like my guy. There's no way it's not my guy. He wouldn't do this to me. He's very much still alive. So I guess I'm gonna agree with him here. Meanwhile, they're being convinced that hey, maybe we shouldn't go outside. Maybe we shouldn't think that billionaires are evil. Bill Gates actually did contribute a lot to charity with the foundation with his wife before he cheated on her with on that pedophile island. And Bill Clinton, he wasn't that bad of a guy. Sure, he got a blowjob. What, one time? We've all gotten head before, right, guys? Come on. He was a good president, or fucking AI. You would know it was AI if I came on here and was like, yeah, Donald Trump, he's not even that bad. So he grabbed a couple of pussies. Big fucking deal. It's really not that bad. Who hasn't? Who amongst us hasn't grabbed a pussy? No, nobody has grabbed a pussy. How do you even grab a pussy? A pussy is not grabbable. That is the thing that I've been wondering for the last decade. Has it been a decade now since grabbing by the pussy? I don't like saying the word pussy. It feels weird. You know what I mean? Does anybody know what I mean about that? Y'all ever just say the word pussy and be like, I should not be allowed to say that. I'd rather say vagi. I'm getting off topic here. But at least you know I'm not an AI. I just made up this hypothetical scenario because that is where we're going. The technology that is being made to replace you will, of course, replace you down the road. No shit. That's where this is all going to go. Because it costs these billionaires money to have to worry about critics affecting stocks, affecting their profits. It costs them money to have to worry about paying employees, so they'll replace every employee that they possibly can with an automated system or with AI. It always comes back to me just ranting Unabomber style about how evil technology is. But it really sucks because I used to work in tech, and I used to work for an AI company for a little bit on the side of my full-time job, promoting their stuff, marketing, the AI, an AI art thing. And I'm so sorry to everyone who ever watched any of those videos when I worked for that company, because that shit is not only bad for the environment, but it steals from artists. Where do you think it's getting its influence from? If you ask one of those things, paint Cristiano Ronaldo, but Studio Ghibli style, it's just stealing from actual artists from that studio who put in their blood, sweat, and tears to make beautiful art, and then doing it in seconds. And people will be like, oh, cry, cope. So what? Those people will still be doing their art. Okay, but they won't be paid for it. They won't be employed anymore. We're already seeing AI replace everybody. How many AI commercials have you seen? Not commercials for an AI company, but how many cable company commercials, or how many supermarket commercials, or car dealership commercials, or just any fucking commercial have you seen on TV in the last month or so that was clearly generated with AI of some sort? And you can always tell because the expressions are never quite right. I mentioned this on my first episode back in November, that the uncanny valley biologically, evolutionarily exists baked into us as a sensation that we get when something looks human but just not quite, for these exact scenarios. We are at the point in society where a biological thing from our far, 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 far past, passed down from our ancestors, is now circling back as something that we need to use. Maybe AI was the end of society, the last time society ended. Maybe the Mayans or the Aztecs, before they disappeared suddenly, seemingly in thin air, were using some sort of artificial intelligence, and it became the end of them and replaced all of them and destroyed everything. I'm theorizing here, but there is a reason that we have that as a part of our ancestral survival instincts. And every time that you see a commercial on TV and that shit starts ringing in your head where you're like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. That's not human. That's not a real actor. That's AI. Use that. Embrace that. That is a gift in this day and age. You're going to need it. And maybe I sound dramatic. Maybe I sound like a tinfoil hatter. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, Alex needs to take his pills and just stop. But come back to me a month from now. Come back to me 2 months from now, too. After that, come back to me a week after that. Because every single day it feels like this technology is advancing exponentially more and more, and finding its little fucking tendrils into more and more of our life and more websites. Everything you hop on is now, you could be on a pet store website and it's like, hi, I'm the PetSmart AI. I don't give a fuck who you are. Get away. I know what food I want to get for my cat. Fuck off. It's just everywhere now. It's invasive. It's insulting is what it is. And it's disgusting. And they're only doing it because it's the cheaper alternative to humans. So, I don't know, like, I know this is very doom and gloom, but this is where things are going, and we have to start thinking about how are we going to get past this? Do you write to your senator? I don't know if you should write to your senator, because it kind of seems like in the state of New York, if you write to your senator, your fucking senator, Chuck Schumer, is just going to write a fucking letter himself. What a pussy. Anyways, I guess I like the word now again, but I haven't mentioned Chuck Schumer and how he needs to go fuck himself in a while. I thought I would come back and revisit that now. Anyways, I have to go. Maybe I'll be back in a couple days, maybe not. But until next time, if there is a next time, I hope there is. Dude, unless AI replaces me and I come on next episode, like, hi there. My name is Alex Mador, or it says my last name wrong. My name is Alex Mador, and this is the Short News Podcast, and Donald Trump is great. God bless the big banks. God bless Pete Hegseth and his merry men. God bless the Department of War and the Bank of America. Anyways, this has been the Short News Podcast. God bless all of y'all. Stay safe out there. I appreciate you for listening to my madness when it is as mad as this, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. I love you, and I'll see you soon.